Hello guys, Adilola Shakara here. So good to be here once again. Another week to take a look at the market. So we're gonna, go through what the market did last week and just in my usual manner, and our usual manner on this channel, like we do every week, every weekend and Sundays, we look at what the market did and what the market is going to do this week, this new week. All right. So in our manner, we used to look at the first step here we look at is DXY. Like I've said over and over on this channel, the purpose of looking at DXY is because the dollar is the most traded currency, so it's very important to look at it. All right. So let's go on. So last week we saw what the DXY did. On Monday, we saw this giant bearish engulfing candle that came all the way down. And some people already saying that we are going down. I'm like, uh that the way I'm seeing it, because we landed on a very strong resistance. Don't forget that this resistance, the price tested it for so long. This was in May. May we had these various tests. By the way, I'm on the daily time frame, so we tested it for like about 4 or 5 days before we now drop all the way. All right. So then we didn't come back here until this was around August. Yeah. Then we tested this place. So eventually when we broke out from this range, from this when we broke the structure around this resistance, at 104, I knew we are really going up. So and then when I saw this bearish engulfing candle, I was telling somebody that this thing is still going up. Because this resistance now turns support. Don't forget the basic support and resistance rule. A broken resistance, normally turns, to a support. And that's why you saw that price bounced off of this resistance a couple of times before we have the push up. So I believe DXY is eyeing 105.8, around this area where we are this, if you see where my cursor is, I think we had this price coming in March this year. So, and then we are going back there. But then, at the open of the week, we might have some little pullbacks, which is normal. We have a pullback. You have something that, looks like there's probably come up to 50% of that bullish engulfing candle, and then goes to test this place and then come down and then, boom. So normally this is what normally happens. If you go to the weekly time frame, this is, this is looking very, very likely. So if we break out from this range, I believe, we should be coming to this area around 108. All right. So, and then once we break into this zone, that means we'll be pushing up. So I would say that, let's check what gold, how gold has been also been behaving. Overall, in the interim, if you go to the weekly time frame for gold, you will notice that gold is bullish overall, right? If you take your, even if you get a 2-year-old boy and ask him what's happening, he will tell you this thing is going up, right? So, but then what we're having is pullbacks, all right? But in the interim, in the medium term, gold is actually bearish, all right? So, for me, my bias for gold is still bullish, but I believe gold is going to come down to form support and eventually go to the upside. All right. If you keep pushing up the way it is, probably if we take out this resistance around this area around 1929, is right about here. So I'll be expecting, if you push out from that resistance, our next point of call will be around 1945. All right. So for gold, that's my position on gold. We close with a very strong bullish candle on Friday. So I still, probably will still push forward until we break away from this range. Okay. Gold, can still push down a little bit before we have that uptrend. If you go to the weekly time frame, the last on Friday, you see what we are. This is this is actually like a retracement. This bullish. Pardon me, give me 1 minute. So I actually don't want this video to be too long, so I'll quickly rush through. So this is looking like we are still going to push up. All right, we ended this week like this. All right, if you take out this resistance, then we're pushing up to the uptrend, to the upside. All right, so let's quickly look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, seems to have, formed a bottom at this support. But then, as you can see on my trend line, that they want to have it in the short term, we are still looking bearish. All right. So, the way Bitcoin, behaves, you can stay on the spot for so long, like we have here. Remember the past couple of weeks when we were testing this support, that I say it's likely to push down. So I strongly believe we might, come to this point where we have this trend line that coincide with this resistance. Price, might likely push all the way to that side, and then probably come down to test the support. All right. If this support doesn't hold, then we might likely go down. If support hold, it might bounce up from there. You might test again. How Bitcoin behaves. But then, like, my position is in Bitcoin. But like I explained last week, next year is Bitcoin halving. So I'm expecting, price a year before Bitcoin halving. We normally have, price, do all this. Bitcoin keeps going down. And I want to believe the big boys, want price to come to a very good area where they can now buy at cheap price. All right. They are looking for discount price. So because they know that, after Bitcoin halving, what we normally have is that we have supply shock. And then that means there's a reduction in supply. And then, of course, demand remains the same. So price, is natural. Economics 101. Price does what price goes up. So for next year, Bitcoin halving might be having pullback before that Bitcoin halving. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see Bitcoin around that, say 22,000 range, to bottom out. Some people even, I've seen people predicted below that. But whatever happens, just know that, after Bitcoin halving, that happens next year. I think I'm not sure whether it's March or April, either of those 2 months. So a couple of months after that, we begin to see the effect of that, reduction in supply. So of course, and the price keeps pushing up. That process has been consistent like that for the past 12 years. So, and I don't expect anything to change next year also. So I would say that let's move on to EURUSD. So of course, because DSY is bullish, every other USD pair, especially USD, pounds USD, AUD USD, and other USD, NZD USD, has been bearish. As you can see, we've been coming down all the way. Remember last week I mentioned that the overall trend for EURUSD is actually bearish. If you look at the monthly time frame, if you scale down to the monthly time frame, like I'm doing so, as you can see, we are super bearish, and we've been bearish since 2008. All right, if I take this trend line, and I do this, you will notice that we've been super bearish since 2008. So every other thing that you're seeing that's been happening under this trend line, I just pull backs. I just pull back, as you can see, it's clear. Price goes up and come down and forms lower low. All right, the sees forms lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then we have lower low, and then we go back up. We have a call low, we go back up. Like as we have here, bottom here, it goes back up. But you will notice that, price has been pushing down. And then I think, like I said last week, we are nearing the low of last year. I think we are around there. Sorry, the low of this year, where price push up from before we start pushing up at the beginning of the year. This happened last year, actually. I think this was around September last year that we pushed up. So I feel we are coming to test the low of 2023 when price, bottom at 2020. I think it was around there, around this area, January. Yes, this candlestick. So I'm expecting price to come down all the way to this area to come and test this low. But then as it seems, as you can see, as we have been forming lower high, lower high, lower high, I expect price to keep pushing down. All right. So but then we might see a little bounce off. So I'll be looking for selling opportunity, pardon me. Although we are sitting on the support. Don't forget, like I always say on this channel, don't sell at the support, all right, and don't buy at resistance. You want price to pull back to your point of interest, to pull back to a very good area for you where you can, shoot, where you can jump in and take your sell and follow the overall trend. All right. So I would say that let's look at pound USD. Pound USD also has been behaving in that manner. Also, as you can see, it's also down. If you go to the monthly time frame, you also see that pound USD also is down. So what you have been seeing on the lower time frame are just retracement. All right. for the big boys that trade I trade big money, they stay on this higher time frame. They don't even bother themselves about lower time frame. They just come and look for these pullbacks, and they stay away from from every pullback and wait for confirmation of the overall trend, which is bearish for pound USD. As you can see, if I take my this thing all the way down, all right. So you can see, I think this happened in November 2007. So for the past how many years we've also been coming down. So what we're having is pullbacks, then we crash. You see that lower low, you see lower high, and then we form a lower high, lower low. So so that is it for this week. So please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, ensure you do so. If you enjoy this content, please share. Also in the description below, I'll be dropping the link for our course. You can check it out. Also, you can also join us on Telegram. All right. So have a beautiful trading week. Thank you. Bye.